Hey everyone, welcome to the Get Your Life Together Girl Mini Mindset Reset. I'm your host, Danielle Van. As a cognitive behavioral therapist, a life coach to women, and author, one thing has become abundantly clear. So much of what gets in our way in our daily lives is not only how we think, but what we think, our mindset. Because of that, every other week, I'm taking your requests and questions and handing over quick, easy to use, practical strategies and life tools to help you shift your thinking, create calm, help you understand and express your emotions, harness your inner power, and learn how to navigate your personal story in 15 minutes or less. After all, how else can you get your life together? So let's shift your perspective with the tools and conversations that help you in the throes of change. The Get Your Life Together Girl podcast mini mindset reset starts right now. Do you lack patience? That's a big question, isn't it? Being patient is a massive struggle for most people, but for women especially, patience is a big issue. Some of our impatience really comes down to so many roles that we serve and responsibilities that we have that it all sort of leads back to our habits and our routines. For today's Mindset Reset, Jill from Manchester, England wrote in and said, "Thank you so much for creating the Mindset Resets, Danielle. I've been following the podcast and am a part of your Instagram community, but there is still something I am struggling with, and I'm hopeful that you can give me some insight. My problem is I'm incredibly impatient. It doesn't matter what it is. I'm always in a space where I want to be in the next place, doing the next thing, and I absolutely hate waiting. I want everything to happen on my schedule, and when it doesn't, I tend to get upset. I realize after listening to you that some of this is a trauma response from my past, and my perfectionism has a big role in this. But I need help to calm down and learn how to wait and not become so disjointed in my life. Can you help me?" Of course I can, Jill. Of course. Impatience, like I said, is a big problem for so many people. And I will tell you, it is something that I struggled with for many years. And I'm going to hand over the personal tools that I use in my life that have really made some big changes. And these are the tools that I often ask my clients to practice as well. But first, let's really drill down for just a second and realize that our impatience comes from minor and significant irritations, disruptions, expectations, and slow-moving goals. Those things add to our discomfort, which often causes us to feel impatient. The first place you want to start anytime you begin to feel impatient is to slow down. And that's really important because remember, our impatience comes from slow-moving goals or irritations or disruptions, and that often makes us want to speed up, but that's counterintuitive to what we really need. So, first place you want to start is anytime that you feel impatient is to actually slow down your body, your thought process, your emotional body, and pick up on the thoughts and the physical feelings of being and feeling impatient. Impatience has a language that we've all said, we've all used. So I want to hand over those because a lot of times we don't even realize that impatience is what's really causing this. So those sentences sound like, "This is taking forever. I wish this would hurry up. I am so annoyed by this. I don't have time for this. I wish I could just be 50 steps ahead. I wish I could be finished." Those are just a few. These statements probably sound really familiar to you, yet if we don't have an awareness of what those statements and thoughts really are right below the surface, we don't have the ability to change them or root down to the true experience of it, which is impatience. So if you find yourself saying or thinking any of these statements or something similar, I want you to stop. I want you to slow down and check in with yourself. What is happening at the moment? Are you really uncomfortable? Are you forecasting how something will play out? Do you feel displaced or infringed upon? What is truly happening. Impatience comes from many different things. As Jill pointed out, sometimes it is a trauma response. We become impatient that we can't be in control. So what is the root? Impatience can actually have physical symptoms too, right? So that's like your leg is bouncing and jiggling your feet around, or clenching your hands, holding your breath, having that elevated heart rate that's making you feel really jittery or irritable, or even sometimes chest pain. That happens too. You can actually have tension in your chest, in your shoulders. A lot of times people will pinch their shoulders up towards their ears when they start to feel uncomfortable and impatient. So think about what's happening. Become clear about what's happening around you and really get into a space of, what do I need to do to shift this moment? Speaking of shifting, I want you to work to shift your perspective about the situation. Most situations that make us feel impatient are the ones that cannot quickly or easily be changed. So instead of focusing on what is not happening, or feeling powerless, or concentrating on what needs to be changed, you have to work to change the narrative of the moment. A great tool is to ask yourself, since I cannot remove myself from this situation or change it immediately, how can I improve the moment in a way that will work for me? I'm going to give you that sentence again. Since I cannot remove myself from the situation or change it immediately, how can I improve the moment to make it work for me? Getting into a space of mindfully creating active solutions breaks the tension that you're feeling and resets your thinking. Another way to tackle impatience is to create a personal strategy to counteract any triggers you have when you feel that you're lacking patience. So this is sort of step 3. And this requires pre-work, right? So this has to be done ahead of any frustration or impatience so that you have a toolbox. And the pre-work will help you be mindful and aware of the things that actually tank your thought process and create an emotional disturbance. So grab a piece of paper or a journal, and I want you to write out a list of things that seem to trigger your impatience. So that list may have traffic on it, right? Or having to wait, or maybe a person in your life that makes you feel emotionally impatient. That would go on your list. Write the list and then offer yourself a firm strategy to each of those individual situations. Again, we're building a toolbox to help us with our behaviors. So a solution might be that I'm going to take 3 deep breaths, examine why I feel frustrated or impatient, and then I am going to explain what I need by using I language, not you language. I language sounds like I feel, I need, I want, I am, I think. You language sounds, pretty accusatory, and it sounds like you always, you are, you aren't, you can't you just, right? This is a big thing. Another solution may be to say, I feel a bit off at the moment and I need to take a break. Give yourself pause. This allows you to walk away from the impatience, from the trigger, and reset your mindset. Whatever works for you, create your list of common triggers and then offer yourself workable, viable solutions to which you can stick to even in the heat of the moment. This is why I'm saying this takes pre-work to build little solutions that are going to help you in these times where you feel like you don't have control. The final way that we will address impatience, at least for today, before I hand over another quick and easy to use strategy that can be added to your list and toolbox, is to really adjust your expectations. Let's face it, you will always feel frustrated and impatient if you're constantly upset with others, situations, places, or things that cannot possibly meet or elevate your unreasonable expectations. So you have to really get down to, why do I feel disappointed? Why do I feel let down? Why do I feel that I'm lacking control or impatient or whatever it may be? This will help you understand that sometimes our expectations cannot be met. And when that cannot be met, we cannot feel like our needs are being met. So some examples of this would be if you feel impatient with maybe a weight loss goal, you have to remind yourself that the weight you are working to shed didn't come on overnight, and therefore taking it off won't happen overnight either. If you find yourself impatient in traffic, you need to maybe change your expectations of the time that you need for your commute. Are you leaving late? If you leave during a heavier traffic time and your destination is 35 minutes away, but you've only given yourself 40 minutes to get there, you're really setting yourself up for frustration because your expectation of perfect arrival isn't going to be met. Think about what you're doing to yourself. Are you setting yourself up for these situations that will automatically cause frustration, automatically cause impatience? Or perhaps you become easily upset by your partner's lack of attention to detail. Maybe they constantly fail to notice the dishes or the laundry piling up, or perhaps they're always late too. And suppose that you become impatient, but you're not addressing the issue. And in that case, the expectation of finding a solution is going to be impossible because the other person doesn't have the information that they need to help solve the impatience. So what do you need? Are you really showing up the way you need to? Do you have a toolbox? And do you know that you have the ability to change both the inner and outer experience that you're having at all times? We live in a bigger, faster, more world. And it's really easy to get into the habit of being impatient in our thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. So we have to slow down. And so I want to give you this practice that I use personally, what I hand over to other people. And it's called the practice of wait. This is a great thing to add to the other pieces that I just handed over to you. So let's break down the letters of wait and how this practice actually works. For the W in the word wait, it stands for watch, just like we were talking about just a moment ago. Watch what is happening within. Watch your feelings, your thoughts, your actions. Give yourself a moment to pause and watch everything that's happening both internally and externally. Now to the A in wait. Accept. Accept the moment. Accept your feelings, the situation, without immediately pushing against it or trying to change and react. Just accept. Be in the moment, be in the now. The I stands for investigate. Just as I said before, get to the root of why you feel the way that you do. Is this situation pulling for something from your past? Are you creating a story around the moment that has you really feeling uncomfortable and impatient? Now let's move to the last letter, which is T, and that stands for tend. Tend to your feelings. Tend to the moment. Tend to others with compassion. Tend to yourself in the same way. The truth is, by learning to control your impatience, you enable yourself to approach situations with a greater sense of calm, balance, and ease. By not giving in to the urge to react, you change the thought process and offer yourself emotional and mental rewards. All of these little nuggets actually add up to big results if you practice them. If impatience is your natural go-to, then remember, it will take a bit of time to change your habit, but absolutely it can be done with a small amount of effort and a lot of focus. Wanting to change is always step one. I hope this gives you some tools and insight how you can make this shift. Thank you so much for the question, Jill. I challenge you to really find the method that works best for you, and I hope this helps to reset your mindset. Thank you so much for listening to the Get Your Life Together Girl mini mindset reset. If you have a subject or strategy request, email us at getyourlifetogethergirlnow@gmail.com. Or you can visit our website at getyourlifetogethergirl.com. If you're looking for daily inspiration or tips and tools, join the growing community at Get Your Life Together Girl on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. Thank you for being a valuable member of this community. Until next time, be kind to yourself and others.